In a move that's left the nation both stunned and scratching their heads, King Charles has overseen a jaw-dropping $369 million renovation of Buckingham Palace, only to turn around and barely set foot inside. That's right, after a decade of painstaking restoration, scaffolding, and the constant hum of construction, the freshly polished palace stands ready for royal living. But the king? He's decided to give it a miss, at least for now. It almost sounds like a plot twist from a British satire. 10 years of dust, disruption, and debate, all funded by the British taxpayer, $369 million to be exact, have transformed Buckingham Palace into a gleaming symbol of royal tradition and national pride. The palace's iconic facade has been restored, the electrics rewired, and the plumbing modernised. For many, it was a necessary investment to preserve a piece of living history. But for others, it's a bitter pill to swallow, especially when the cost of living crisis is biting hard across the UK. And after all that, what does King Charles do? He politely thanks everyone for their efforts and then heads straight back to Clarence House, his preferred London residence. It's almost as if he's saying, "Thanks for the palace makeover, but I'll stick with what I know." Clarence House, with its more intimate setting and familiar comforts, has long been the king's home of choice. But his decision to stay put has left many wondering. What was the point of the palace's grand transformation if the monarch himself isn't moving in? To put it in perspective, imagine spending a fortune to rebuild Wembley Stadium, state-of-the-art facilities, world-class turf, the works, only for the star player to host his matches at the local park instead. It's a scenario that's both baffling and, for some, infuriating. The symbolism of Buckingham Palace as the heart of the monarchy is hard to ignore, and the idea of it sitting empty, or at least underused, feels like a missed opportunity. The official line from the palace is that it remains the monarchy's headquarters, a working hub where staff coordinate royal duties, manage correspondence, and plan state events. But behind the gilded doors, the atmosphere is less royal residence and more corporate office. Desks and computers have replaced the bustle of royal family life, and the grand rooms are now filled with paperwork rather than pageantry. For many, it's a far cry from the palace's storied past as a vibrant royal home. Unsurprisingly, the public reaction has been swift and fierce. Social media has erupted with criticism, memes, and heated debates. Anti-monarchy groups are seizing the moment, organising protests and calling for greater accountability. For them, the palace renovation is just the latest example of royal excess and detachment from everyday struggles. The hashtag #PalaceSnub is trending, and the conversation shows no signs of slowing down. In response to the backlash, the palace has tried to put a positive spin on things. They're touting increased public access, promising more guided tours and special exhibitions. The hope is that by opening the doors wider than ever before, they can justify the enormous expense and share the palace's beauty with the world. Souvenir shops are stocked with royal-themed tea towels, mugs, and trinkets, perhaps in a bid to recoup some of that $369 million price tag. But for many, it feels like a band-aid solution to a much bigger issue. And just when you thought the story couldn't get any more surreal, the royal family has made a show of financial transparency. King Charles voluntarily paid $12.9 million in taxes last year, a gesture meant to demonstrate his commitment to fairness and public duty. The move has been splashed across newspaper headlines and dissected by pundits. But while some see it as a step in the right direction, others argue it's a drop in the ocean compared to the vast sums spent on royal upkeep. For the average Brit, the gesture is nice, but it doesn't quite erase the sting of seeing Buckingham Palace transformed into what some are calling the world's fanciest Airbnb. With so many families struggling to make ends meet, the optics of a lavishly renovated palace, largely empty of royal residents, are hard to swallow. Some have even joked about listing the palace on vacation rental sites to help cover the costs, while others simply shake their heads in disbelief. This all leads to a much bigger question. Is this the monarchy's attempt to modernise, or is it just another sign that they're completely out of touch with the realities facing ordinary people? Supporters argue that preserving Buckingham Palace is about safeguarding national heritage and boosting tourism. Critics, meanwhile, see it as a glaring example of privilege and misplaced priorities. The debate is raging on talk shows, in pubs and across social media, with passionate voices on both sides. So, what do you think? Is the royal family's approach a savvy move to keep the monarchy relevant in the 21st century? Or is it proof that they're living in a gilded bubble, disconnected from the people they represent? We want to hear your thoughts. Are you buying the royal spin, or do you think it's time for a serious rethink of how the monarchy operates in modern Britain? Let us know in the comments below and join the conversation about the future of Buckingham Palace and the royal family itself.